Hi everyone, it's April Garwood from Banana Moon Studio. This video is going to be the first in a series of teaching you how to read a crochet pattern. I see a lot of people that know how to crochet, but they don't know how to read a written pattern. And since I write patterns and know how to read them, I'd like to show you how to do that. So I'm going to turn this camera around and we are going to go through reading a short, fairly simple pattern step by step, and I'm going to show you what the directions in that pattern mean and what it looks like when you actually do what that pattern says. So I'm going to turn this camera around and we're going to get started. This pattern that we're going to be working with today is my Gardens Galore Garland pattern. This is a free pattern on my website. I'll put the link for that in the description box, but also on the top right of your screen there should be a little card you can click on, and that will take you to this pattern where you can get it for free. So what I want to do today is I'm going to start by following the directions for this little heart motif, and it's very small. You can see a picture of it right here. And the heart motif is just this little pink part. It's stitched on top of another small motif, but we're just going to make this little heart. And as we do that, I'm going to go through these instructions, these written instructions, and I'm going to help you learn what all of these things mean so that you could then use this written pattern to produce your own small heart motif. Okay? So this starts by saying make an adjustable ring. Okay, so sometimes in crochet you'll hear that called a magic ring. It's the same thing, but I'm going to show you how to do that, and I've done this in other videos before, but we'll do it today. Okay, so we're going to start by leaving a tail. You want your tail to be at least 6 inches long. I just kind of eyeball it, but don't make it too short. Too long is better than too short. You can always cut off some extra, but if it's too short, your knot may come undone. Your project may come undone. So then you're going to wrap that around 2 fingers one time, like so. Pinch this and take it off your fingers. Then put your hook through here and hold those 2 loops in place. And then you're going to take your yarn that's going back to your skein. I like to tighten mine up a little bit here. And then I'm going to wrap my yarn around my hook once and pull it through the circle. And then I will chain 1. And that locks that loop in place. And now I'm ready to go. So next, my pattern says round 1. Now, if you are already familiar with crochet, you'll know that we tend to work either back and forth in rows, or we'll go around and around, but each time moving outward and getting bigger. So you'll have in your patterns, it will label each of those separate rows or rounds, but this R and D, that's short for round. So round 1 is what I'm going to do here. CH stands for chain, so I'm going to chain 1. And then this says 6 SC in ring. SC is an abbreviation for single crochet. So that told me to chain 1, which I already did in the process of fastening off my adjustable loop here. So this that I already did counts as my chain 1. And then remember it said 6 SC or single crochet in the ring. So that means that I'm going to put my hook through this big ring and I'm going to work a single crochet, and I'm going to do it 6 times. All right, and then I can go back and count, make sure I've got the right number. I can see the tops of my stitches here, so I'll count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So I have 6. And then my pattern says pull tail tight to close center. Okay, that seems fairly straightforward. So what you're going to do to pull that tail to close the center is just find your tail and pull on it until you've closed the center and brought your stitches into a circle. And then it says join to first SC, that's single crochet, with SLST. SLST stands for slip stitch. So it says join to first single crochet with slip stitch. All right, so that means I'm going to go backwards and find my first single crochet. If you're not sure which one it is, count backwards. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1 is this one. So I will put my hook through that first one and a slip stitch we're going to pull through here and through this loop, and there you go. I have finished my first round, and this right here tells me that my first round should include 6 stitches, and I already know it does, but if you're not sure, you can go back and count them. All right, so then I move on to round 2. Round 2 starts with CH1. That stands for chain 1. All right, so I know to chain 1, I'm just going to do like so. Then it, in parentheses, says SC, comma, DC in first stitch. Now, when you are going to put multiple stitches all inside of one stitch, you put those multiple stitches in parentheses. So the only reason it's in parentheses is to show me that the whole group of stitches inside those parentheses are all going in the same place. So I know that SC means single crochet, DC means double crochet. So what this tells me is that all in the first stitch, I'm going to make a single crochet and a double crochet. So let's see what that looks like. Okay, the first stitch is the same one that I just slip stitch into. So I'm going to put my hook in there, single crochet, and double crochet. I want to pause here just for a moment and make sure you know I'm working in US terms here. Single crochet and double crochet mean something a little bit different if you're working in UK terms. So just keep that in mind. All right, so I've done this part. Next it says 2 DC, that's double crochet, in next stitch. All right, so my next stitch, you can see this big, kind of bigger open hole here. That's where I just worked. So my next stitch is going to be this one. So I'm going to go into here and do 2 double crochet stitches. Okay, so I've done the 2 double crochet in the next stitch. Then I have SLST, again that stands for slip stitch, in next stitch. So this kind of open hole here is where I just worked, so my next stitch is here. I'm going to slip stitch, so I'll go in and I'll pull through there and through this loop. So that's my slip stitch. And next I have 2 double crochet in next stitch. So I just worked here, so now I'll be going in here with 2 double crochet stitches. All right, now I have these in parentheses again, and that's because I'm putting 2 different stitches both into one stitch. So in parentheses, I have double crochet, then single crochet in the next stitch. All right, so I just worked here. I'll be going in here next with a double crochet stitch and a single crochet stitch. Next, I have in parentheses again, SC, which is single crochet, CH2, that means chain 2, and then SC, single crochet, in the last stitch. I'm going to do all of those things in the last stitch. So single crochet, chain 2, single crochet. Okay, and that stitch is right here. Now you may be wondering, because I said I'm going to do this in the last stitch, and it looks like there's a stitch here. This is actually the slip stitch that I did at the very end of round 1. It's not a stitch, so it's not going to be worked into. This is my last stitch. So here I will do a single crochet, chain 2, single crochet. All of those go in the same place. Okay, and then it says join to first stitch with SLST, that's slip stitch. Join to first stitch with slip stitch. All right, so that means I'm going to go back and find my first stitch from this round. If you need to, you can count backwards, because it does tell you that at the end of this round you'll have completed 11 stitches in this round. So you can count backwards if needed. I know that my first stitch is right here, so I am going to, and how do I know that? Well, like I said, this is the single crochet, or I'm sorry, this is the slip stitch I did at the end of round 1. This is the chain 1 I did at the beginning of this round. So this is my first stitch here. And I will slip stitch. I'm going to tighten that up to close it. And now I have this tiny heart. Okay, and then the last thing it tells me is fasten off. You fasten off by cutting your tail, leave it at least 6 inches long. Don't make it too short, that makes your project more likely to come undone. And then you'll pull that all the way through, tighten it, and you have this little heart motif. Of course, you'll have to weave in your ends. But so that is how you follow the instructions to make this little heart. Please subscribe to my channel, because I will be doing more videos like this demonstrating how to read a written pattern and follow the instructions in it. If you aren't familiar with the abbreviations used in crochet patterns, the card at the top right of this video or the link in the description box will take you to a blog post of mine where you can download or print off a free list of the 40 most common abbreviations used in crochet patterns, and you can keep that next to you as a cheat sheet as you're working. As always, please like, subscribe, share, and comment. I hope that if there's something you need help learning in crochet or knitting, you'll leave me a comment in the comments below so that I know what it is you want to learn. And always find my latest at bananamoonstudio.com. Thanks.